Hey there everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Paint Party Livestream. I am so glad to have you with me here in studio again this week. This live stream is my Learn to Paint journey. A few years ago I started teaching myself to paint using YouTube tutorials, and almost every week, I meet you here on primarily YouTube, but syndicated across a variety of platforms. And we paint something different. We work on a painting. The beginning of this year, I switched to oil paints, and so I am learning that medium over the last 6 months or so. And it's been a process. It's an ongoing process, but I'm really enjoying the challenge. So I'm glad to have you here. You can participate in the live stream wherever you're watching, through the comments, on whatever platform you're on. I really enjoy engaging with you during the live stream, so feel free to ask questions, make comments there in the comments wherever you're watching, and we'll have a great conversation as I paint. All right, let's jump in, and I will get this set up. I'll turn my camera around, and then we'll talk about what we're going to be painting this week. Welcome, welcome. I see a few more people popping in. It's so good to have you. I hope you all are having a great week and that everything is going well. Again, you can participate in the live stream via the comments wherever you're watching, so feel free to ask questions, make comments as we get started this evening. I'm going to switch cameras, turn this around to the canvas or to the easel so you can see my canvas, and then we'll talk about what we're going to start painting tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. All right. Oh, I did not plug in my other cameras. That's why they don't appear. Pardon me. They should pop up pretty quick here, I hope. There they are. All right, and I will switch to this camera. Welcome those of you. I see a few more people popping in. Those of you that have just popped in, feel free to engage in the comments here as I get everything set up. So glad to have you. I'll put my, oh nope, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. I'll put my palette over here so that you can kind of see what I am mixing a little bit, at least. There we go. All my paints lined up here. All right. Now, those of you who are live, I'm going to put up 3 different images, and they have that those lines on them just for my purposes, but on the left side of your screen you'll see an image of the Badlands here in South Dakota. The middle of the screen you'll see, I guess I should dip down, you will see the a scene from the hike I took this past week, and then on the right you see an image of a mountain here in South Dakota. And I am going to let you, those of you who are watching live, help me decide which of these we start tonight. I want to do all of them, a study of all of them, to see if they would make a good larger painting. There's challenges with each one that is a little bit distinctive, but I would love your opinion. If you could take a quick look at those, put your preference up, 1, 2, or 3, going from left to right across your screen. So number 1 is the Badlands, number 2 is the middle picture, and number 3 is the mountain on the right. So if you would like to vote, please do that in the comments. Put up your votes in the next few minutes here in the comments. Again, 1 is all the way to the left, which is the Badlands. 2 is in the middle. 3 is on the right. And help me decide which of these to work on tonight, those of you who are watching live right now. Okay, and then I will get this set up while we do that. And hey there, Shirley. Thanks for popping in. Yours is the first vote to pop up. That is just in Spearfish Canyon, actually, here. I did a new hike this week with Mom and Dad's neighbor. And it's a new to me hike. It's a new trail, and was beautiful along the creek there, Spearfish Creek. And then you go up kind of a mountain and around, and then back down on I don't know what highway that is, but the highway by Rough Lock Falls. So beautiful, beautiful area. Yes, it's one of my favorites as well. It is one of my favorites as well. And on this hike, every once in a while you look up and there's the canyon walls around you or in the distance, and it's really quite a wonderful little hike. All right, again, those of you who are on live, if you would like to vote, please do that in the comments. Number one is the image to your left. Number 2 is the image in the middle. And number 3 is the image to the right. Which painting would you like to see me work on? I am going to get my paints set up. And if nobody else wants to, everyone's quiet tonight, nobody wants to chime in, then we will just go with Shirley's vote. I didn't realize I had so much paint building up on this little knife here. My goodness, it's layers and layers. I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was there, but I didn't realize it was like peel me off level. That's good though. It's pretty dry. We can hopefully. All right. Welcome if you're just joining us. I have 3 images at the top of your screen. I'm looking for votes on what you want me to paint tonight. They are numbered 1 to 3 from left to right. So if you'd like to vote, please do so in the comments where you're watching. Number 1 is the Badlands to your left. The middle is number 2. And number 3 is the mountain on the right. The mountain is called Bear Butte. It is outside the city of Sturgis, South Dakota. If you know the Sturgis or have heard of the Sturgis motorcycle rally, that is where it takes place. But this is a view from a historic national cemetery at the top of a mountain there. It's quite a beautiful place with graves from the 1700s. Mark, hey, welcome, thanks. Mark says Badlands. Anybody else want to chime in before I'll have to be the tiebreaker if we don't get a tie-breaking vote. You can vote wherever you are watching, if you're watching live. From left to right, number 1 is there on the left-hand side. Number 2 is in the middle. And number 3 is on the right-hand side. So, all right. I am just scraping out the paint that I used the last time I painted. Not the paint, the dry kind of crusted That's good. We'll have to work on that. The red is good. I think the white is good. Yep. They stayed. I had them in the freezer, so they have stayed pretty well. All right. Let's talk about what we're going to paint tonight. All right, I chose these three because they have different things that I want to work on. So I want to see. I got a little paint on my hands. I'm trying to clear that off as much as possible. I guess I'll put a little. I don't like putting mineral spirits on my hands, but I want to get that oil off. Have to be sure to wash them very well when this is done. I always do, but I should have put my gloves on first. Live and learn. I should have learned. Should be. Okay, let's see. So we have a vote for number 1, a vote for number 2. Everyone else is just being very quiet today, which is fine. I think as the tiebreaker, it's hard because I want to do all of them for different reasons. I think honestly number 2 is most like things that I have done before and will be easiest for me. So I think I'm actually going to choose number 1 because I don't exactly know exactly what I'm going to do. So you may see number 2 and number 3, or probably will see number 2 or number 3 on a future live stream. But let's choose this one for now, just because it will be the biggest challenge. And I'm going to put up my screen so I can see it a little bit larger here, just off screen. Let's see. Okay, and with all of these, you can see I've adjusted the reference a little bit, and that's part of the challenge. But we're gonna work with that to see what we can do. Okay, now let me put this up. This, obviously I'm not gonna paint on that. I'm gonna paint on this, and I'll put you all down just a little bit, that way you're looking at it a little bit from the side and from the top to avoid some of the glare, but that should work. Okay, what we want to do with this image, you can see that I placed a grid over the top of it, just basically for composition purposes, and then I cropped this from the original image, but I have never painted something that is like looking down on, in this case, kind of the canyons with a lot of stuff going on in the background. And so I looked at some other examples of people who've painted canyons, and one of the ways we can get the perspective right is by raising that sky. And I really want to emphasize the distance and how immense the land is. So that's what I'm going to be playing with this time. That's my intent. So as we do that, let's draw in some of this composition here. I'm putting up here on the right hand side, I use some mineral spirits and some, just to thin the paint really thin, and it'll dry it pretty quick. And we can start to kind of draw in, and I think I want to, this is proportionally the same. You'll notice there's a green bar at the bottom where I'm going to kind of ad lib a little bit, but let's put our, let's put our horizon line about right there. We want to raise it actually probably a little higher than it is in the reference, because I want it to really feel like the land, because that's the feeling when you're out there on the plains. The land just feels like it stretches forever. So we'll put in the horizon line. There you go. And we just want to put in kind of landmarks as we change the, what I really want is going across this way. I like how these rocks are, they're kind of on that. Grid line that kind of comes down through, because it guides the eye into the painting and keeps it moving. Now, instead of putting this rock kind of center, I'm actually going to put it over here. And then we'll have grass and such going here a little bit. That way our eye goes like this. And what I want to do, we'll have kind of the clouds come really thin like they are here. And this strong line coming in like right in there. Some Badlands back in the, we'll barely see them. I want the eye to go like this, because the focal point's going to then be kind of an inverse cycle, going with the large canyon wall, and these trees will kind of adjust the trees. But I want the eye to go like this, and then to the kind of focal point here, and then to go back here, and then go, so your eye just keeps going like this to look at everything that's in the composition of the so I think I want to spread it way out. So I'm going to condense some of these things. And as we go, we'll see if it works. I think one of the challenges here then is going to be, I didn't cover up my mineral spirits, and it's given me a quick reminder. All right. So I want if I can get my lines correct, then I want sure if I want to bring that larger mountain. I think I want to make it really prominent right in here. So this and I want it to come okay. Then we're gonna pick how we want these trees. I think I want I don't want the trees to come in till about there. There. We'll look then here. We'll just kind of put some so it feels like grass there. Maybe we'll put some bushes in. There. This should really, it's starting to read already, but should really read like again, I don't really know what I'm doing. We're just gonna figure this out. I want to say welcome to those of you that are just joining us. This is very much open house, so just pop in, stay as long as you'd like. I'm doing a lot more kind of drawing than I normally do because I want to make sure that I get these lines really correct. Then I'll have to really make sure that I get the values just right. To make sure that this one looks behind, like it's behind that one. Doing this little kind of what Brunet or Grisaille type painting, which is just kind of monochromatic, it also allows you to think through some of the like challenges of the painting ahead of time. So, because this wasn't sadly, when I was there, at least at this point, the sun was out, but it was middle of the day, which is not a great time to take reference photos. But it's amazing how great this canyons look, these formations look, even with very little contrast. But that's going to be a challenge when it comes to painting them, because the values are much more I don't know the word, but basically like much more, basically they're not super sharp. The values are I may have to, some of these back here, I may have to saturate them a little bit differently. We'll see. But I think I have what I want to, which is really what I want to have, which is very, like, it feels like this land just goes out forever behind these. So that's what I want it to feel like. Welcome. You can comment, ask questions in the comments wherever you're watching, if you would like. Please feel free, especially if there's something that is you're questioning with what choice, why I'm making certain choices. And okay, I think it's pretty good how I want it. Okay. What do you guys think? What do you think? Oh, moment. Oh, just a second. Let's see. Hoo. Okay. Like I said, I spent quite a bit more time fleshing out some of this, but I think honestly it's gonna, if I can keep all my values kind of correct, then it's really gonna help me create a much better painting. So now we need to look at we need to look at putting in the sky. So let's do that. I'm going to put a little blue over here, and we're going to have to raise it way up. Put a lot of white into it. And that is a little, it looks lighter on your screen, but it's a little, boop, boop, boop. Get these brushes out of the way. It is a little purple. It's a little cool. And so I want to bring a little yellow. Let's see what we can do. Just a tad. Oh! Yellow's very potent, so we don't want a green sky, but we definitely want to warm this up. It's hard because you have a glare right there. Let me take that down, maybe if that'll help. Okay. This is almost there. Almost. Everyone's so quiet this week. Quiet, quiet, quiet. That's okay. I'll sit here and talk to myself. I figure if Bob Ross did it, I can too. Of course, he could also finish a full painting in 30 minutes with no cuts, so there's only one, Mr. Ross. Okay, I think this is, I like this. Let me give it kind of a, let's put in some sky and we'll start moving back to front. Once we get some color on here, then it will make it easier to see what's going on. We'll put in that sky. There we go. I want to put on that paint pretty thick because we have that brown undercoat. I wonder if I should, oh, I just, speaking of Bob Ross, I just kind of tipped over my mascot there. I have a Bob Ross mascot in my studio that my aunt gave me, and he just took a nosedive when I was reaching for this medium. Okay. Just gonna mix a little bit of this in. It's amazing how just one drop of that medium makes this paint flow so much better. I am alternating brush strokes to make sure it covers, but I want the, I don't want the little crusties, but I want the texture of the brush strokes to show, and they reflect the light a little bit different. You can see that right there, see that texture. I like that in a painting, so I am going to I think sometimes I paint too thin. Okay. It's crazy. Always takes more paint than you think. My dad taught me that when I was painting apartment walls years ago. He said, load up your brush, or your roller, if I was rolling. Still don't know that I've learned that lesson, but probably better than I would have otherwise. I have a feeling this painting is going to be a good one once I get it. It's going to take some work, I think, but I have a good feeling about it. We shall see. You want that pretty straight line out there because we want it to look like everything is receding back into the distance. So we really want it to putting a little more yellow. It's super responsive, so, and because I want it more light over here and warmer because the sun is on, even though it's cloudy day, it's coming from this side, so it's subtle, but that's what I want. And I want it a little bit darker over here. That's really sunny. So we'll bring it down here. And you can't really see the difference, but it's definitely more greenish. Ooh, it is warm in this attic today. Our weather broke. It was unbearably hot yesterday. It's only, I think, well, I think it might have got up to 80 today, but 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but it is really warm, which is crazy because I worked out up here earlier this afternoon and it was fine, but it is a bit toasty. I want to do, this is, I'm taking a little bit, I want to just put a little bit of almost like invisible. I want to do just a little bit of red along that horizon line. Just a little bit of pink. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it too much, but okay, now let's look at what we need to do to start bringing some of these features forward. So we want a, and I think I'm looking at what my best brush is. I think it's this one. Maybe that one. Oh, I think it's this one. I want to do a very so you may not know this, but as things recede in the distance and there is atmospheric, our eyes perceive things differently. Therefore, I think the first color to drop out is red, then yellows, then greens, then blues, as far as our ability to perceive. Therefore, these back mountains are pretty blue and kind of a purplish color. That's why we call where I live the Black Hills, because obviously that is not the Black Hills. It is, they are green mountains, but when our eye at a distance drops, when the color drops out, we perceive it as black or dark blue. Black Hills, therefore. And to indicate distance, we're going to keep, we're going to make this really fine, where it almost just disappears into the sky over here. And that's what hopefully will give us the illusion of just way out there, way out there. Can barely tell if there's anything out there. Every once in a while I'll put like a little bump in here
just to indicate. Again, I'm using almost the color of the sky to kind of blend that horizon line in, because it's almost like they just disappear in. Like at the top there, you can, of the reference photo, you can't really even tell there's a distinction. And we can't distinguish really. Now these ones I want to do, they are a little bit, I'm taking a little bit of red brown into these. So it's going to be a little bit of a value shift. But I need to keep it really subtle. I think that's too much. Oop, that's definitely too much. I grabbed too much. Okay. Now let's see. We need some, see if this is, yes, it's definitely value different. Taking this kind of purple color and just trying to carve some of these. I'm not really following the reference photo. Now what we need to do is there, it's just starting to gives us the sense of kind of, because if we go too emphatic, then the things bounce forward too far. So doing a little bit of kind of light spots right next to your dark spots. Okay. Now I want to do a, let me see if this will work. Okay. Now what I need to do is a little yellow, a little blue, because I need a green. There's kind of this really pretty green out there that I want to. Again, it has to be subtle. My eye sees it when I blow up the reference photo. But if I put too much color in it, then it's going to look really bad and it's going to jump way too far ahead because our eye knows, oh, I shouldn't be able to see that color. But by mixing all these colors right in this big blob, oh, I need to put that back. Whoops. By mixing these colors kind of in a blob, it allows me to, I don't know why that light shines right there, huh? Maybe I can do that. There, I'm trying to protect you all from getting that glare from my light above, but I can see these values. This purple, blue, green is very similar in value, so that allows me to put this in here because I want this. There's like a big area back here that's like, and I think it's actually a little darker in value. Definitely want it green, but it's like almost. I want it to read like I definitely want it to read like meadows out there. I'm just playing this game of lighter and darker. Where do I want to put this meadow? How far do I want to bring it in? It comes pretty far in. And then we have that kind of, and the reddish color is in front of it, but they're so close that they almost disappear into each other. So, but I don't want them, I want the illusion they're out there. But it's like, oh, there's kind of those, there might be a, these formations are definitely out there, but Yep. And so it comes forward, then we need to have a little more. We need some more shadows. That ridge needs to be a little bit darker. So we have to be mindful of the striation in the rock as well. Because I want it to be clear it's the Badlands. I don't want it to look like I don't want it to look like just some mountains out there. I want people to know what they're looking at. I'm cooling this down a little bit because the other turned so bright, but I don't want to go mess up the value too much, because see how this is already, now it's jumping too far forward. So we're going to have to kind of welcome to those of you who just or have just popped in the last few minutes. There's a few more people popping in. I'm so grateful you are here. This is a constant game of raise the value. But I think we're, for the most part, keeping it pretty good, because this is what the feeling I wanted. I wanted it to be like super
so that the foreground just really speaks. Okay. Then we need some kind of dark. I want to keep this very this dark space I'm putting in right now is definitely grass. So I want it kind of where it's flat. I want a little more green in it. As it comes forward, of course, we're going to see more and more real green. So let's put that in. And I want to figure out I got too much yellow. Okay. Take some of this darker.
again, and this will help us indicate the foot of kind of those foothills, not foothills, but like what do you think? Do y'all think it's reading okay? Well, it looks like quite a challenge, but whoops, will be a beautiful place. Thanks, Bob G. I'm going to put that back up there so I can, whoops, I don't want to resize that, but I want to put it so that it's on this side of the screen. Guess I can also, just move this up a little bit. It is, I chose it specifically, I asked people at the beginning to vote, and there were a couple of different votes, but I chose this one because I really didn't know how to do it, and I knew it would be a challenge. Specifically because there are the big challenge is keeping all of these values in the back like in balance, but also figuring out how to add color and such. So yes, that is the challenge. Now this, I have to figure out how to, again, these are I don't want this to come forward too far, but I don't want it all blurred back there either, which is starting to get. So we need to say I will I will have to come in again and do another layer to kind of tighten up some of these lines. And blackberry iced tea. Oh, that sounds right up my alley. You need something in those hot Little Rock days. Definitely dog days of summer. We got up to about 80 here, so it wasn't horrible, but I'm not used to it because we haven't really had hard summer yet. So I'm like, can we get a break? At least if I get, like,
I really feel like this is an underpainting, but if I get kind of the shapes in the places that I want them, then I can definitely Now, I think what I want to do is figure out what is going to be the mid-tone of this. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing again. Just kind of more or less mixing. Oh, and I just used the wrong brush. Shoot. I have a light and a dark brush, and I just put my light brush just became the dark brush. So alrighty then. I want to put more, a little bit of red to cut this down because I didn't want green. I want this much brighter. This is still really green. I want more brown because I kind of want a mid-tone for these major rock formations in the front. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I think that could work for the Thank you, sir. I deeply appreciate it. Little by little, we'll get there. Every painting's got to go through its ugly stage. So, I want to start. These will be our shadows, so I'm going to start to put these in. I want to start cutting in some of these formations. Again, remember what I said is going to be the biggest challenge with this one is going to be that keeping the values all kind of coordinated. I haven't figured out exactly how to lay in the striations of the but we'll figure that out as we go. Then I think these up front need to be a lot more gray. less red. I don't want tons of blue. Such a deal. Okay. We'll just start to carve these out. Well, for the most part, this is making me happy. There's all these little crevices that have all kinds of lights and darks in them because the water has run down them over the years. painting rocks is almost like painting, I don't know, those of you who've been here for a while remember the Mont Saint Michel painting, the big giant one. You'll see if you follow me on Instagram, that I just got it framed finally. But painting rock is like fur on an animal. You're going back and forth, dark and light, variations, because there's no, especially something like the Badlands, there's no consistency. And it's pretty difficult to paint it effectively because our eye wants to make things uniform and wants to see patterns, and so we will go and create patterns that aren't even there. See, there's like, I created like line, 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 and so now it's like, okay, how do I go back with shadow and figure out a way to break it up enough that it is not a shadow, or not a Okay, now I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to give that a breather, just so, because I've been doing similar shapes and such for a while, and I want to kind of see. I'm just stepping back. I still think it's coming together pretty well, like it's doing what I want it to do. So I think I'm going to come in and do the block in for the plants out front. See if we can get it kind of there. Give us a little green. All right, and the deepest values will be in these trees, so that's why I'm putting that in, because they will be the darkest part of the because they're the closest to us, and they're standing straight up even if they're at the bottom of a ravine. I'm just kind of putting in the shape. Again, I'm more concerned about values than I am anything else, because I want them to look correct against this rock. Can't really see it on your screen, but this is kind of it looks like a dark brown, but it's really a dark green. Then I'm gonna, and the most, or the highest chroma stuff we'll have is the grass right here in front, because it's literally, I want it to feel like we're standing on this ledge looking down into the ravine, because that's exactly what's happening. There we go. Okay, I think we got pretty much what I want in. Now I'm going to take a little bit lighter brush, take a little bit of yellow into this, bring up that chroma significantly, but use the as a base. This is kind of my, okay, now we're gonna bring this right up around, so our grass is right at, sorry, I have to like kind of, to get this bottom ridge, I kind of have to do this. We're just trying to cover up ground. We'll bring it more brown out towards the edges, or more dark green, but we're just trying to cover up the cover up the grass. Here's some grass and weeds and whatever growing up. We'll just put this in. All right, we got about 20 minutes in this session left, so
Every time I do this, y'all, I get a little bit better. So what I noticed down here is this green needs to be pretty desaturated. Sometimes you should look at the channel drawing and find his flat landscape paintings. You might like his approach, translatable to acrylics. I actually binged watched his channel a few months ago. I haven't watched all of his stuff, but yeah, I really love his teaching approach, and we'll definitely take a look at his approach to that. It was really helpful because he paints alla prima like this, but obviously, and that is difficult for, it is difficult if you've been painting in acrylics and are transferring over to oils. So I think it would be really helpful for me because I still am battling the painting, like in my head, like painting like I'm still using acrylics. So yes. But I'm slowly becoming comfortable with oils, little by little. Little by little. We're getting there. Right now I'm trying to get most of the canvas covered with paint so that I have something to work with in the next day or two when I come back to this. I mean, I want obviously as good as I can get, but most of it is. The good thing is it's reading the way I want it to. I mean, it's reading like we're looking over a cliff. So that encourages me, because I live in these places with beautiful canyons and all kinds of things, and if I can't paint them effectively, that's a frustration. If I can get this mostly the way I want it, as far as like mostly correct, then I can, when I come back, it'll be easier to just, put in more of the shadows and highlights. So
That's the goal. I feel like this painting is moving right along, and so I really don't want to stop, but I know you guys don't want to sit here all night watching me paint, so. Hi there, Mom and Dad, and perhaps guests. So glad to have you pop in, even for a few minutes. I know it's busy. I'm using the reference photo kind of as a guideline now to put in some shadows along these edges so that it even stands out more that we are. Perfect. Hello, Tom and Penny. So glad you made it out to the Black Hills. Thanks for spending time with the folks. I'm so grateful you all get to reconnect and renew friendship. It's really special, I know. By emphasizing kind of these shadows, especially out on the edge and along the rock, it of course makes it look like we're higher up, but it also draws the eye that direction. This is the Badlands, right outside Wall, South Dakota. Oh, someone's shooting a firework or screeching their tire. Not sure which. If you guys heard that. There. There we go. Now we start to have some layers here. To just so we have that color. Don't want to go too dark out there, of course, but there are some darker edges out.
Okay. I don't think we are going to get really into it tonight, but I think we can do kind of I want to test some stuff out just so that I can see when I come back to this if this is the direction I want to go. So I'm going to stray a little bit from the reference photo, and I'm mixing a kind of reddish orange color because I wonder if I can put it against this cool, if it starts to stand out enough. Not sure. I don't think so. It's too similar to my underpainting. If we want to brighten it up without losing our intensity, then we add the yellow. Okay. Might be too yellow. I think that's too yellow. So we need to take it down a bit. All right, I'm just kind of seeing what, if you remember in Mont Saint Michel, like we had to mix those rocks because it was basically like this, all the same rock formation, same colors, but it was, you had to make them look different. Had to make it look like, you know, something was in the shadows versus the sunlight versus a different type of stone. But eventually we got there, didn't we? So I'm confident we can do the same here. I think that's better. So I need a little bit more burnt umber. I have to figure this out, because that is not what I want there, but looks like it's kind of on fire or something. I'll have to figure out when. I think the next time I work on this, I'll lay out my colors first. So I'll have my like shadow colors for the rock and my highlight colors, and then I'll be able to do more kind of carving into this. Want to get paint on this. I wonder if I can use a bigger brush. I just want to get a lot of paint on this. I want to get this rock face kind of covered, at least a first layer on it. I'll have to come back and carve it out so that it looks appropriate. But until you have something on there, it's hard to see what should be there. But I kind of like this for this color for the shadow actually. It does look like this is already, this side is in shadow. Oop, now I'm gonna go too bright. I recognize that I'm just flattening a bunch of this ground, but that's okay. There we go. It's all covered. All that time basically for an underpainting, which is fine because I think we got it. Took longer than usual, but I think it will be really great once it's done. So I'm going to bring you all back here. Whoa, I am stepping on cords. I'm going to bring you back to this here. I want to say good night to y'all. So let me get this turned around. I appreciate you spending your evening or part of it with me. Now next week, I have the next 10 live streams scheduled, but next week I will be out of town, headed back into town, so we'll not do a live stream next Monday. Just a heads up for those of you who are here every week, who I appreciate. Oh, I'm tripping over drop cloth. So, whoop. Let me turn you back here. All right, this is what we have so far. Pleased with like the composition wise, which was the challenge I put before myself. I wanted that feeling that you have when you're there of it just going and going forever. It's just, the vistas are amazing, kind of like that feeling in the Grand Canyon, and that's what I wanted to be able to create, that illusion, and I feel really good about that. I think, last week we worked on, I think I showed y'all, but I pretty much finished it. I just need to varnish it. It is pretty dry, but the poppies, I did some more work on that, and I'm really pleased with where they are. So this will be varnished, then the darks will really stand out. But you can see there, there's a lot of texture in that painting, it's very loose. At a distance you can tell what it is, but when you get up real close, you can see a few brush strokes, but there's not a whole lot of detail. And that was the intent of this one. So a lot of fun, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. So that will get varnished, as well as I think I showed you all this one from a couple weeks ago off the Mickelson Trail. So that said, I want to say thank you so much again for joining me. I hope that you have a great week, or 2 weeks, and I will see you again, not this Monday, but the following one, 2 weeks from tonight, here in the studio, wherever you're watching, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Till then, have a great one, and we will see you soon.